Have you ever felt that your mind works in a different way from most people? As if you notice connections that almost no one else sees. As if your curiosity never stops. And as if inside your head there are always new ideas, new perspectives, and endless possibilities? If that sounds familiar to you, there might be something special about your energy. Because some people are born with a naturally restless, curious, and extremely observant mind. And very often, those people belong to the sign of Gemini. But there is one detail that very few people know. Not all Geminis carry exactly the same kind of energy. Some seem to possess a much stronger mental intensity, an almost insatiable curiosity, a natural ability to understand people, ideas, and situations with impressive speed. And interestingly, many of these Geminis were born on very specific dates. For a long time, the sign of Gemini has been misunderstood. Some people say Geminis are indecisive. Others say they change their minds all the time. There are even those who claim they are confusing or difficult to understand. But anyone who truly understands the Gemini mind knows that the reality is very different. What looks like change is actually adaptation. What looks like indecision is often intelligence analyzing multiple possibilities. And what looks like contradiction is actually a mind capable of seeing several sides of the same reality at the same time. That is exactly the hidden strength within the sign of Gemini. And that is precisely what we are going to reveal in this video. Today you will discover which birth dates within Gemini tend to carry the strongest mental energy of the sign. Dates that, according to many students of astrology, seem to concentrate extraordinary curiosity, natural intelligence, and a unique ability to communicate. Maybe you were born on one of these dates. And if that's the case, it may explain many things about the way your mind works. But before we begin, if you enjoy content about astrology, self-knowledge, and the mysteries of human personality, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate the notification bell. That way you won't miss the upcoming videos. Now let's discover these special birth dates within the sign of Gemini. Opening with a question plus curiosity. Have you ever felt that your mind works differently from most people? As if your thoughts move faster. As if your curiosity never had an off switch. And as if, even in a simple conversation, your mind is already analyzing several ideas at the same time? Some people go through life only following what is directly in front of them. But there are others who always seem to be searching for something more. Something beyond the surface. Something that explains how things truly work. If you have ever felt this way, there is a strong chance that you carry the energy of Gemini. Gemini is known as one of the most curious and intellectually active signs of the zodiac. It is the sign of the quick mind, communication, constant questions, and the desire to learn about almost everything. But here is something that very few people realize. Not all Geminis express this energy in the same way. While some show only light traces of this curiosity, others seem to live with their minds constantly in motion. They are people who notice details that no one else sees. People who ask unexpected questions. People who have an impressive ability to understand different points of view. It is as if their minds are always connecting ideas. And many times, these people spend years trying to understand why they think so differently, why they change interests so easily, why they can talk about so many different subjects, and why sometimes their ideas arrive faster than others can follow. What few people know is that within the sign of Gemini itself, there are certain birth dates that seem to concentrate an even stronger mental energy. People born on these dates tend to display very striking characteristics, an unusual curiosity, a natural gift for communication, and an extremely adaptable mind. They can notice connections where others only see coincidences. And when they begin to understand this ability better, they often discover that what once felt like mental restlessness may actually be a special kind of intelligence. An intelligence that does not simply collect information, but one that connects ideas, understands people, and sees multiple perspectives at the same time. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about in this video. Because today you will discover something that may completely change the way you see the sign of Gemini. We are going to reveal the birth dates within Gemini that are believed to carry the strongest mental energy of the sign. Dates that, according to many astrology researchers, seem to produce individuals with extraordinary curiosity, powerful communication, and a naturally restless mind. So pay very close attention, because one of these dates might be yours. And if it is, you may finally understand why your mind has always seemed to work a little differently from the rest of the world. The truth behind the Gemini mind. For a long time, the sign of Gemini has been surrounded by many stereotypes. You may have heard some of these phrases before. Geminis change their minds all the time. They are indecisive. It's hard to understand what they really think. One moment they say one thing, then they say another. For many people observing from the outside, the Gemini mind may seem confusing or unstable. But those who truly understand the nature of this sign know that this interpretation is far from the truth. What appears to be contradiction is often simply an extremely fast mind operating at high speed. While some people analyze only one possibility before making a decision, a Gemini often analyzes several at the same time. They observe, they question, they compare different points of view, and within seconds, their mind has already explored paths that other people might take much longer to consider. That's why when a Gemini changes their opinion, it's often not because they are indecisive. In reality, it's because new information reached their mind, and they quickly reorganize their thoughts. This mental adaptability is one of Gemini's strongest characteristics. The Gemini mind works almost like a radar. It captures subtle details. It notices changes in the environment. It observes behaviors, expressions, and words. And all of this is processed rapidly within the mind. For that reason, Geminis can often notice things that pass completely unnoticed by others. They recognize patterns. They connect ideas that seem unrelated. And they are able to see different sides of the same situation. That is exactly why many Geminis end up standing out in areas that involve communication, strategic thinking, creativity, and analysis. But there is a challenging side as well. A mind that active rarely rests. Thoughts appear constantly. Ideas emerge all the time. Curiosity leads to new questions, which lead to new discoveries. And sometimes this can make a Gemini feel like their own mind never fully slows down. However, when this energy is understood and directed in the right way, it transforms into something extremely powerful. Because the true gift of Gemini is not just speaking well or thinking quickly. It lies in the ability to understand the world through multiple perspectives. While some people see only one path, a Gemini can visualize many. While some see only one version of the truth, they can perceive different possibilities. And when this ability appears on certain specific dates within the sign, it tends to manifest even more intensely. That's why some Geminis seem to possess an even more curious, observant, and communicative mind than others. And in the next topics, we will explore exactly how this curiosity and natural intelligence can transform into one of the greatest hidden powers within the sign of Gemini. The power of curiosity and intelligence. One of the most impressive characteristics of those born under the sign of Gemini is their almost infinite curiosity. It is not just about enjoying learning new things. It goes deeper than that. Within the Gemini mind, there is a natural need to understand the world. While many people accept simple answers, a Gemini usually goes a little further. They want to know why things work the way they do. They want to understand what lies behind ideas, decisions, and human behavior. It is as if their mind is always searching for new pieces to complete a great puzzle called life. This curiosity begins early. Many people with strong Gemini energy report that, from a young age, they were already asking unusual questions. Questions that sometimes surprise teachers, friends, or family members. Why do people think in such different ways? Why do certain ideas become popular while others disappear? Why do some paths in life seem so predictable while others completely change someone's destiny? These questions do not appear by accident. They are the reflection of a naturally investigative mind. And this constant curiosity eventually becomes a great advantage throughout life. Because the more a person questions, the more they learn. And the more they learn, the more they expand their ability to understand the world around them. That is why many Geminis end up developing a special ability, learning quickly about many different subjects. They may become interested in psychology, technology, communication, science, art, human behavior, or almost any field that stimulates thinking. Their mind enjoys intellectual movement. It enjoys discovering new ideas, exploring different concepts, and connecting information that seemingly has no relation to one another. But this same curiosity can also bring challenges. A mind that active is rarely satisfied with just one answer. When it finds an interesting idea, another question quickly appears, and then another. This can make a Gemini feel like their mind is always searching for something more, something new, something that expands their understanding of reality even further. However, when this curiosity is directed in the right way, it becomes a true power. Because people who ask different questions often find answers that others never imagined. And it is precisely this ability to explore ideas, question patterns, and search for new understandings that makes the Gemini mind so special. Especially when this energy appears on certain dates within the sign. In those cases, Gemini's natural curiosity can manifest even more intensely, creating individuals with an extremely fast, observant, and idea-filled mind. People who not only absorb information, but who can also transform knowledge into new perspectives about the world. The ability of communication. Among all the talents associated with the sign of Gemini, one of the most remarkable is undoubtedly the ability to communicate. But when we talk about Gemini communication, we are talking about something that goes far beyond simply speaking well. It is a natural ability to transform thoughts into words, ideas into conversations, and conversations into real connections between people. The Gemini mind works very quickly. Thoughts appear in sequence, ideas come from different directions, and almost instantly those ideas find a way to be expressed. That is why many Geminis have an impressive ease when it comes to explaining concepts, telling stories, starting interesting dialogues, or maintaining conversations that completely capture the attention of the people around them. They know how to choose their words. They know how to adapt the way they speak depending on the situation. And very often, they are able to translate complex ideas into something simple and understandable. This is an extremely powerful ability. Because communication is not just about speaking. Communication is about making an idea travel from one person's mind to another person's mind in a clear and impactful way. And in this area, Geminis tend to stand out naturally. For this reason, many people with strong Gemini energy often feel drawn to areas that involve expression and the exchange of ideas. Environments where they can talk, teach, learn, debate, share thoughts, or even inspire others through their words. Communication for Gemini is almost like mental fuel. Conversations stimulate ideas. Ideas generate new questions. And new questions feed the curiosity of the Gemini mind even more. But like other characteristics of this sign, this ability also has a challenging side. Because when the mind works very fast, something interesting can happen. A Gemini sometimes thinks much faster than they can explain. This can make it difficult for some people to follow their reasoning. At certain moments, a Gemini may also feel that they have many ideas at the same time, and choosing which one to express first becomes a small challenge. Even so, when this energy finds balance, it transforms into one of the greatest strengths of this sign. Because people who know how to communicate well possess a rare power. They can influence thoughts, open new perspectives, and create connections between completely different people. And when this ability appears intensely on certain dates within the sign of Gemini, it can become even more impressive. In these cases, we are not just talking about people who communicate well. We are talking about individuals who can inspire, teach, provoke reflection, and even change the way other people see the world. And that is exactly why communication is considered one of the most remarkable powers of the Gemini mind. The revelation of the dates and the closing. After understanding better how the curious, fast, and communicative mind of Gemini works, we finally arrive at the most anticipated point of this video, the revelation of the dates. Within the Gemini period, which occurs approximately between the end of May and the third week of June, some astrology scholars observe that certain dates seem to concentrate in even stronger mental energy. People born on these days often display very striking characteristics of the sign: an unusual curiosity, an extremely active mind, and a natural ability to communicate that attracts attention. It is as if the intellectual essence of Gemini manifests more strongly. These Geminis often show an impressive ease in learning new things, absorbing information, and connecting different ideas. They observe the world around them carefully and rarely leave a question unanswered. And even when they find an answer, another question usually appears soon after. That is the nature of a mind that never stops exploring. Among the dates that frequently appear associated with this stronger energy within Gemini are, for example, May 27th, May 30th, June 3rd, June 5th, June 7th, June 10th, June 14th, June 18th. People born on these days often demonstrate a powerful combination of curiosity, intelligence, mental versatility, and communication skills. They possess a mind that enjoys exploring ideas, discovering new perspectives, and understanding human behavior more deeply. But it is important to remember something essential. Astrology does not completely define who a person is. Every individual has their own story, life experiences, and personal choices that shape their personality over time. What astrology does is simply show energetic tendencies, like a map that reveals possible paths. And in the case of Gemini, this map shows something very interesting. What is often seen as a flaw of the sign, the restless mind, curious, always full of ideas, may actually be its greatest power. Because a mind that constantly questions does not settle for superficial answers. It seeks to understand more, explore more, learn more. And people who keep this curiosity alive throughout life often discover things that others never even notice. In the end, this is the true power of Gemini. It is not just about speaking, thinking, or learning quickly. It is about seeing the world with an open mind, full of curiosity, and always ready to discover something new. Now I want to hear from you. Were you born under the sign of Gemini? Does your birth date appear on this list? Write your birth date here in the comments. And if you know a Gemini with this curious mind full of ideas, share this video with them. Because sometimes what has always seemed like simple mental restlessness may actually be the sign of a hidden power waiting to be understood. Before we finish, I want to sincerely thank you for staying with me until the end of this message. Your presence here truly makes a difference and shows that you are also someone curious, open to new ideas, and interested in understanding the mysteries of the zodiac and the human mind more deeply. If this message made sense to you, leave a sign here in the comments by writing 2626. That way I will know that you received this message until the end and that this energy reached you. I always like to see who truly follows each video until the very last minute. And if you enjoy this type of content about astrology, self-knowledge, and the hidden messages of the zodiac signs, it is very important that you join our channel. So take this moment to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, leave your like, and also share this video with other people who may be interested in this kind of knowledge. These small actions help the channel grow a lot and allow more people to discover these messages that can often bring reflection, curiosity, and even new ways of seeing life. Thank you very much for being here. See you in the next video.